This class on decision making is specific to communication strategies. Now, this is really important all the time, but during challenging times, like the chaos COVID is causing us, it becomes more difficult, but actually more important. So, when it comes to communication of your decisions, here's one primary recommendation. Prior to the discussion, let people know what they're getting into. Earlier in a class, I mentioned the 1, 2, 3 strategy. A 1 is when the leader makes a decision. A 2 is when the leader needs feedback and then they'll decide. A 3 is when consensus needs to be reached. So, for example, before the discussion, let people know what kind of decision is going to be made. Gather people in a room and say, everyone, we're going into a number 2 discussion. We're going to make a number 2 decision on this. That's my job, but I need to know how you feel. Engage in the discussion. Once the decision is made, go back and say it again, the kind of decision that was made. So in that case, you would go back and say, we had a discussion. I received your feedback. This is what I heard you say, and therefore, here is the decision. Now that may seem obvious, and it actually may seem basic, but doing so will actually provide clarity during a time that is just not clear. And that only builds trust. During a time like this, trust is really important. Here's an example to consider as well. Now, this isn't COVID related, but then again, we've never been through COVID in the past. But you have been through turbulent budgets. So you know what it's like to make difficult budget decisions. And the reason the budget process is so challenging is, everyone has a lot of perspectives relative to how community dollars and resources should be spent. And resources align to priorities. So as you go through that process, what we all notice is you probably start by gathering your experts, right? You find the people in the districts who have the most knowledge relative to a particular area of instruction or department, etc. You want them in the room relative to the kind of decision. Well, also be very clear to that team that you gather, as well as the community, that your goal in a budget process is a number 3 decision. You're going to try to come to a number 3 decision internally. You're going to bring that forward to the community, to your board or budget committee, and ask they do the same. They delve into discussion and they come to a number 3 decision. That's important because you have to own the budget as best you can, and you know how turbulent that can get. Now, here's the real reason, or how about this, another reason you bring in your experts from the very beginning, is because their job is not just to advise the district on how you spend your resources. Their job is to be communicators. You're using them as communicators because your job is to influence what gets talked about in the grocery store and on the ball field. And if you are a superintendent or if you are a district leader, you know exactly what I'm referring to. So you need to be very strategic and methodical, just as you would in a turbulent budget process during a time like this. I hope this also is helpful.